Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you want to see real stories animated, tap that like button and go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you never miss a video from us.
I'm Kyle, and this is my story. I decided that on my last day of high school before graduation, I was going to go out in style by pretending to be a substitute teacher at school. I got the idea while talking to friends on Snap about senior prank ideas and said the three of us should all do it. We ended up doing another lit prank, but I told my friends I wanted to do the substitute prank anyway by myself. My friend Tyler bet me $20 I would chicken out. The night before the last day of school arrived, and I laid out my suit and tie on my bed. I even got the kid next door who was a junior to give my hair a lineup. I grabbed my dad's old briefcase from the basement so I could look more official. When I arrived, I got a few weird glances, and then one of my friends almost mistook me for a teacher from behind. I began to think I could actually pull this off. I put the briefcase in my locker before my first class. I had a decent amount of friends, especially in 11th and 12th grade. If this was going to work, I would need to go into a freshman class, hoping they would be clueless enough not to recognize me, because our friends did not overlap that much. I was looking dope, and I felt like I had enough confidence to pull it off. I wanted to go into a class at the end of the day so I could dip out afterwards and drive away to avoid any confrontation with staff. Right before the last bell rang, I was sitting in science and could feel my heart in my throat as it pushed up against my buttoned-up collar. The bell rang. I sprang up from my seat and I grabbed my briefcase from my locker. Once I got to the entrance of the freshman hallway, I began walking more upright and began making direct eye contact with students. I walked past one group of students standing in the hallway, and I told one student to take his hat off or I would take it. I almost burst out laughing after he removed it, and he apologized when I walked away. I waited for a minute after the bell rang and begun walking down the hallway to find a class with no teacher who was running late. I wouldn't be able to teach the whole period, obviously, but I could keep it going as long as the teacher was late. I figured it was the end of the year and most people were just handing in assignments or preparing for finals. A part of me was hoping that the last few classes would work. The other part of me was thinking it would be a relief if I couldn't do it. I came up to the second to last room in the hallway, and boom! A class with about 20 freshmen lounging around quietly talking and no teacher. I looked down the hall and did not see any staff coming, so I walked through the door and set my briefcase down on the teacher's desk. If everyone would please take their seats, I'd like to go ahead and take attendance. I am Mr. Prescott. I looked down at the desk and noticed this was a teacher I had before. He was absent a lot when I had him, or frequently late. Mr. S isn't feeling well today, so I'll be subbing for him. I do not have the class roster, so we'll go down each row and just tell me your name. Out of nowhere, a student says, "Aren't you a student here?" Someone recognized me. But it didn't matter. If I played it confidently enough, she would get the idea, stop talking, and the rest of the class would be satisfied with my explanation. So I stopped, took a moment to act frustrated, and continued. Yeah, I get that a lot, I know, I look young. But no, I am not a student, and I would please appreciate it if you would raise your hand to speak. I continued. I understand you all have some work you're finishing or that need to be turned in today, so I'll go ahead and let you work on those for the rest of the period. About 5 minutes have passed now, so I'm starting to wonder where the teacher is and if I'm going to actually fill the whole period. Just then, I hear loud footsteps coming down the hall, and luckily a teacher walked by and didn't notice. I breathed a sigh of relief. For the next 10 minutes, I sat at the desk while students handed me completed assignments. The phone suddenly rang and the office asked for a student to come down who was not in class. After they hung up, I made believe someone wanted to talk to me in the main office. I turned to the class. I need to run to the office for a few minutes. Please continue to work quietly and do not go anywhere until I get back. By this time, my adrenaline was pumping and I was happy I fooled them. I went down the hallway and exited through a side door near the parking lot to get to my car. After I was pulling out, I realized I left my dad's briefcase on his desk. After a few hours, the whole school found out what I did. My phone blew up from a bunch of people asking me what happened, and my parents got a call from the principal. There was supposed to be a sub covering for Mr. S while he was in a parent meeting who went to the wrong room during that period. Anyway, he came back shortly after I left, and he soon figured out that his sub was BS. Unfortunately for me, my dad put his name inside the briefcase, so it wasn't hard for the school to figure out it was me before they looked at the security cameras. I heard from a few freshmen in the class Mr. S was cool about it, and chuckled a bit once he figured out what happened. I didn't get in trouble at school and was able to graduate, but my friend Tyler got the last laugh. He followed through with our bet and paid me $20 in rolled pennies.